recognize Representative Tiffany from the great state of Wisconsin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The representative of Nevada, I think, brings up a really good example of, in regards to leases. They should be spread out through more of the country. You shouldn't bear all of the burden. I think there's more of the western states where we have the dominance of the federal land that we should be leasing there also. I think you bring up a really good point, and I hope that happens with the Bureau of Land Management. Representative Curtis asked about emissions. Are emissions driving climate change?
Congressman, I will say emissions is helping to impact. As I sit here today, I cannot speak to what it's driving it.
Yeah, you said that you're not a scientist and you don't know, but that's what the administration is doing, is they're using this rationale of climate change or the green fantasy to try to drive their policy decisions. Do you agree that emissions from climate change are what, that it is actually causing the climate to change?
What I agree is emissions are having a significant impact on the climate change, and with the factors that goes along, it is a big impact.
So if we're reducing the amount of emissions compared to other countries, shouldn't we be producing these energy products right in our country?
I think what I will speak for here is trying to transition to that clean energy economy and ensuring we look at both renewable and non-renewable and using our public lands to help that.
Are you prepared to lead the charge in issuing more mining permits to be able to produce the gold, silver, and all the other minerals that are needed for what they call the quote-unquote clean energy economy, which is based on wind and solar? Are you prepared to issue a lot more mining permits on federal lands?
I believe we're prepared to issue permits that is on the lands that is appropriate for that development, recognizing again the multiple use of the land and the impacts from the various resources or the impacts to the various resources.
The key term there, Mr. Chairman, was appropriate. If you remember, we had the former head of the United States Forest Service here a number of months ago, and he said, we asked in regards to a mine in northern Minnesota, okay, where's an appropriate place to mine in America? Well, not where water is. Well, okay, how about Resolution out in Arizona? Not much water out in Arizona. Well, I don't know if that's a good place either. Whatever place that is suggested, there's always a problem and you can't build the mine there. That's where the term appropriate comes, like we just heard from this gentleman. You said in regards to to withdrawing the land up in Alaska, you said the American people, or the people up there that have a subsistence living, that they would be affected. I think most of the American people, including those in northern Alaska, seek more than subsistence. If the tribal members in northern Alaska, if they would say to you that you did not consult them, if we hear testimony to that effect, would you reconsider that decision of the withdrawal in Alaska if consultation did not happen as they expected?
What I will say, the Secretary made a decision to cancel those leases, and her decision is part of looking at a supplemental to that analysis to determine how to move forward.
So you accept that the Bureau of Land Management, the United States government, did not consult properly with these tribal people?
What I accept is, and it's my understanding that consultation took place, and it's my understanding that, again, after the Secretary looked at the factors of the legal deficiency, she made a decision.
Is there a definition of fair return?
I'm quite sure there is.
Would you provide that definition of fair return that the Bureau of Land Management uses?
We will get back to you, Congressman. Thank you.
Yeah, so what we've been hearing consistently, all the costs, but they never mention the benefits of producing gas and oil to the American people that have been enormous over the last 150 to 200 years. But now we've got $4 a gallon gasoline, once again, where I live in northern Wisconsin, haven't had it for a couple years. Once again, we have that. The American people have a record amount of credit card debt. And we're talking about only reducing production by 14%, which will drive those costs even higher. These are misguided actions, Mr. Chairman, by this administration, and it's time to change course, and it's evident that this administration is not going to do it. The American people have a big decision before them in 2024. I yield back.
Thank you. And to the gentleman from Wisconsin, the consultation appeared to be with the Native community that supported this administration's philosophy of anti-development. And the next